Covenant was in our presence, man. That's why when the Lord allowed the Ark of the Covenant to get taken from us, man, hey, we was down and out. Like, yo, can't win, can't do nothing. It was like the secret, Michael's secret stuff. Like, you need the secret stuff.
It's like venom for bait. Whenever you get the venom in there, you just, that's the spirit of the Lord. They call the symbiote. It's really like a spirit because it comes upon them and then it basically guides them on what to do, where to go. So but ultimately, that's why, like the brother read earlier in Isaiah 33:6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy tongues, because we're going to be guided by the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. To make certain decisions, sometimes, you're just going to be in a certain situation, you're just going to know what to do. Because, hey, sometimes when you're making decisions, the Lord has it to where everything wrong with whatever you're currently thinking starts to stand out to you. You may say, yo, why don't we do this? But then the Lord pop out everything wrong with that. Nah, what about this? Nah, don't consider this. Nah, consider this. And it just narrows all your options, so we're just left with this then. Because the Spirit of the Lord, whatever the Lord's will is, that's what's going to happen. So that's why we say don't worry, because even if you wanted to change something, you cannot. Wherever you end up 3 days from now, that's where the Lord said you were going to end up 3 days from now. So you literally don't, that's why what did Yahushua tell his disciples? Don't worry about tomorrow. The evil for tomorrow is sufficient for the day. Don't worry about that. Worry about today. Today where you at right now, and deal with that. Because however the Lord has set things up to go, that's how it's going to go. The Lord said you're going to get home at 5 p.m., you're going to get home at 5 p.m. There's nothing you can do to change that. So the best you can do is what? Do your best to serve the Lord so that whatever his decision is for you in the future is actually a beneficial one for you.
And that's why I said, Lord's Prayer, lead me not into temptation. Because it's the will, it's not of him that runneth, but of the Lord who willeth, man. So ultimately, it's not him that runneth or him that willeth, but it's the Lord who shows mercy. So it's the Lord showing mercy that he will lead us not into temptation. Right. When you go into the word temptation, it means to be enticed to evil, or caused by external things or external circumstances. So in the times that we're in, only the Lord's only going to show that mercy of not leading into temptation the ones who deserve the mercy, the ones who was doing his will, the ones who were serving him while he may be found. While he had his arms open unto mercy. That's the only ones that's not going to be led into temptation. And most people are going to go that way, and they're going to think that's the best path to take, because they're going to try to be wise in their own receipts.
And actually, a lot of points brother mentioned as far as like maybe Israel, all the stuff we're talking about. This is Psalms 101. I'm start at the top. It says, "I will sing of mercy and judgment unto thee, O Lord, will I sing. I will behave myself wisely in a perfect way. When wilt thou come unto me? I will walk within my house with a perfect heart. I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave to me." And so, we talk about the Lord's protection and mercy and all that. How you get that is by walking in his way. That's why David had all of that love for the Lord, because he walked in the Lord's way. And that's the only way you can receive the Lord's mercy. If you walk his way, do for me, he'll do for you. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's saying. If you do it for him, he'll do for us.
In the book of Psalms 18, it tells you that. David was saying that to the merciful Lord, thou wilt show thyself merciful. So however you are, the Lord is going to show himself that way to you. That's why I think it was Yahushua who said that if you can't forgive your brother that you see here, how do you expect forgiveness from the Lord? Because however you are is how the Lord is going to look to you. So you can see why the Spirit of the Lord was so loving to David, because he had a loving heart. Right? David was likened unto a shepherd. Yeah, he was merciful. The tender mercies of David. That's why the Lord has so much mercy on David. Because look at the mercy David had if the spiritual, exactly. Because David could have put Saul to death, but he didn't. He had mercy on Saul and did not touch him. Just like the Lord could have put David to death, but he didn't. He had mercy on David. See, so the typical.
Ball to death?
Oh, the ball, yep. You wanted to, but the Lord held him back. Because, and it's beautiful how the Lord did that, because the Lord knew that what David was going to do Though to us it would have been like, yeah, you know what, why not? That was still been going off because Nabal did not commit a sin. It was still Nabal's property, and he decided, I ain't going to give you none. But David, out of anger, was going to go commit a sin. That's why the Lord held him back from that. And the Lord said, look, this is why you always got to leave it in the hands of the Lord, because at the end of the day, Nabal still got what came to him, but David's hands were clean from that. Right. As opposed to if you went and put him to death and all the men in the family. See, so the Most High, hey man, like it says, going back to Psalms 18, how you are is how the Lord is going to be to you. That's why it says, do unto others what you want to be done to you. Who's going to do that to you? The Most High.
Psalms 19, Psalms 19 talks about keeping away from assumption of sins. You know? And that basically means premeditated sins, man. Because if you have a premeditated sin, it's like a premeditated murder, it's a harder sentence. A premeditated murder, you can get the death sentence for that, man. You know, but a murder that's not premeditated, you might get 10 years or 15 years, but you're not gonna get the death penalty for something that's not premeditated.
Right, that's where they got murder 1, murder 2, and manslaughter. Murder 1 is like you sit outside somebody's house and wait for them to come out and kill him. Murder 2, like we was all chilling playing basketball, we started fighting, he fell and hit his head and died. That could be murder 2.
Right. You know, so hey, and that's why the Lord kept that from King David, because if he would have let King David do that, then King David would have had to been judged for that, man. Yeah. Which is why the whole thing happened with Uriah. You know, because that was premeditated. But the Lord, they still had mercy on him, but he didn't let him go unpunished. The scripture tells you how marvelous one goes unpunished. And even though the Lord, he gave mercy because the Lord technically should have killed David. Because that was a sin worthy of death. Two sins worthy of death, kind. You know, but just the sure mercies of David, instead he got his whole house was just fucked up. And that's kind of like the situation that we're in, man. Because we all are worthy of death. You know, we're all worthy of death, but the Lord is having mercy on us. But yet we still, through much tribulation, we got to enter into the kingdom. So all the afflictions that we're going through, hey, we're worthy of those things, man. You know, it's not supposed to be no walk in the park for all the foul stuff that we did, all the iniquity that we've done. You know, the Lord could easily put us to death and just had Yahweh Shai by himself over here. Right. That would be righteous.
So he's extending his righteous. There's a scripture. There's a scripture I read earlier. I think it's in the book of Ecclesiastes, which said that 18, yeah, when the Most High perceived our end to be evil, he multiplied his compassion. And now it goes to show you this is why you got to fear the Lord, because when David did all the things that he did, committing adultery and murder, when you read the story of King David, that's not like him. But it was the spirit that came upon him to do that. That's why when Nathan came and told him about the man he told it to him in a parabolic form, you can see that immediately that spirit just jumped off him and he had that heavy sorrow of repentance right then and there. That realization. See, because that spirit, the Lord took that off him. And just like Peter, when Peter said, no, I ain't going to deny the Lord, he couldn't help it. There's nothing Peter could have done in that moment to stop himself from denying the Lord 3 times. It's like he was literally forced to do it, and he had no power over it, which is why afterward, the spirit jumped on him, the spirit that was on him left him, and it hit him when he looked at Yahweh Shai and realized everything the Lord told him he was going to do, he just fulfilled against whatever he wanted to do. Because what was Peter? Peter was very adamant. He said, no, Lord, I ain't doing it. That Lord had to curse his ass out and tell him, no, get behind me, Satan, right? So how can you go from being so adamant within that short period of time to doing exactly what the Lord said you were going to do? It's the spirit of the Most High.
That's definitely spirit, because when you read the Gospels, it was only Peter that ever talked about, I'll follow you to death, like I'll ride with you, like, it was only Peter that ever talked about how like he was willing to die to follow like Yahweh Shai. But he was the only one actually that's written that is actually denied Yahweh Shai. You know? And that just goes to show you that like even us in the truth, man, we all got faults. Like we could all be at any moment we can have a fault. And on top of that, where the Lord even said it that he that denied me before man, him shall I deny before my Father. So that technically couldn't apply to Peter. You know? It could apply to Peter, but that's the mercies of David. That's the mercies of David. Like, you just as bad. That's why in Luke, well, when it talks about how the Galileans, if you think they're worse, like than the ones that you think the Galileans that died You know, when they're making the book think they're worse than any other guy, I'm like, nah, man, you just as bad. Like, we just as bad as everybody else. And we've done shit that's just as worse as everybody else. But it's like, hey, we got that sorrowful unto repentance, man.
Right.
You know, and hoping for the Lord's mercy. That's the difference. Like, people, they don't hope for the Lord's mercy. They talk about it, but they don't really do the actions that follow that. Because you can just talk about, I just want mercy, mercy, mercy. But being merciful or having mercy, it's an action.
Right.
Like, you got to deserve or work towards mercy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, at the end of the day, it's just up to the person that they want to give you mercy or not.
Yeah.
But you still can do some actions to show that, yo, like, you know what? I'll be merciful. Like, please, like a person, like, you hit somebody's car, you hit their car, like, you know it's like straight their fault. And they just come out the car like just being boastful. Hey man, fuck your car, you shouldn't have been parked there. They ain't gonna want to be merciful. Or if they come out, yo, I'm so sorry, like, yo, like, you still don't have to be merciful, but like their actions, yeah, it pacifies. There you go, it pacifies you, man.
Yeah, so why I'm saying your attitude determines your altitude. And a lot of people like fuck shit up for themselves. But and you probably wasn't gonna let them go. Like a lot of times that happened. One time that happened with me, a little bumper tap, but she got out private. So I penalized her for it. She like, if you report the insurance, my price is gonna go up. So what you want? And it was just like $200. I really was gonna let her go, but she got out and was real snobbish about it. And you know, and that happens a lot with people. A lot of times they was gonna get let go or have mercy or whatever, but they came off the wrong way and they didn't go far. So that's how the saying go. Your attitude will determine your altitude.
And that's why even in the scriptures it talks about because of their pride, great misery. You know, because pride is that's hateful before the Most High, man. And before pride comes, before becomes pride, man. You know, that's how it goes.
Pride
comes before fall. You know, because in the eyes of the Lord, we all are filthy. But what separates a filthy? What separates my filth or this brother's filth from a fucking gangbanging nigga in the world? It's that he's prideful doing it. Right. You know, pride can separate, can lead you to a worst case, or if you just get rid of your pride, even though you're supposed to be a worst case, that can get you out of a worst case. Humility, there you go. Humble. Blessed are the humble, the meek, for they shall inherit the earth.
Said. There's the book of Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2, wherein in time past, there's the book of Ephesians chapter 2, verse 1, and you hath he quickened who were dead in trespasses and sins, wherein in time past he walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience.
So he said we all walked in time past according to that same spirit, man. See, people don't realize, but America, Esau has a spirit, has a vibration that he pushes out. Right? When we talk about vibes, that's really just like a common term for just saying spirit. You know? Right. That's what it is, man. Oh, I like your vibes, or the vibe ain't right. It's just the spirit that's in the atmosphere is off. But that's the energy. That's all across this whole world, man. You know, the vibe of this God of this world is evil, is wicked. So if we all walked according to that at some point in our life before we came into the truth. You know? We've all had that same mentality. It may not have been, you know, a brother might not have been, you know, in a gang, or a brother might, but there was something that was according to the spirit of the God of this world that you were doing, that you was aligned with, that you was like, yeah, I'm down with this. You know, and that in itself makes you an enemy to the Most High, because there's anything that you're down with in this world goes against the spirit of Yahweh Bashem outside. You know, and that's why you become a new creature, you become reborn, like a newborn, literally like a newborn into this world. You know? Because a newborn, there's no vibe that they have. They're picking up the vibe from their interactions in the everyday life. And that's why as you get older, you see, and I see it with my son, you getting worse and worse, like being in this world, like you becoming more and more rebellious, talking back, but that's because that's the vibe of this world. You know? In the kingdom, he ain't gonna have that. Better and better and better. Now you can grow, be good now as a baby, but you grow up worse. And ultimately you know that through the spirit reincarnation, but it's just like the vibe of this whole thing is just completely just off, man. And that's why you gotta come out of this world. Not physically, until Yahweh Shai comes. But spiritually, you got to separate yourself from this world, man.
This James 4:4. Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever be a friend of the world is an enemy of Yahweh Shai.
Hey, when you go into friendship, that's something that you choose, man. You know, you choose the people that you are, friends with. So if you are a friend of this world, that's a choice that you made. You chose to be down with the vibe, the vibration, the ways of this world. So that means that you know that the Lord is not with that vibe. So it's like that's like you going back to the world vibe. You being friends with Chris, your best friends with Chris, but then you trying to be friends with a person that's a blood. It's like that person that's blood. I can't be friends with you. Like you friends with this nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I can't be cool with you. That's how the world look at us. Like people like Israelites in this world. Like if you cool with this world, I can't be down with you because I'm not with the shit that's going down in this world. Like having a best friend. None of us do. But having a best friend that's like a silent, like you can't be friends with somebody like that. Like, oh, wait, what?
Because you accept it.
Right.
Like you're supposed to be renewed to the point that your light blinds people like that. Now you can have worldly type friends with you got friends of the prophets, but they're not offended by the things that we do. So they gotta be what? Halfway decent.
Right,
you know?
right.
But you got people like you're supposed to be in the truth to the point that your light of the like what it says in John 3:18. You know, they was offended by the light because their deeds was evil. So a lot of things that we do, on the other scripture it says, thinking not strange when they go not with you. So our light in Yahweh Shai is supposed to shine so bright and be so much in us. It's supposed to keep certain type of individuals away from us. It's supposed to be like a natural protector to keep certain people that real grimy and foul away from us. Now they don't have to fully be in the truth, but if you like a real low grimy ass person, you're not gonna want to be around people like us, and we're not gonna want to be around you.
Hey, that even goes into relationships with women. The Lord said a wicked woman will be appointed over to a wicked man. Now we know that majority of the women that we deal with, they're not like obviously not in the truth. They are the world, but like how the elder said, there's something about them that you can deal with. You know, something about them that they're halfway a decent, individual, decent woman. But like a straight up wicked ass dragon breathing bitch, like you can't, like I can't be around you. Like I wouldn't be able to deal with that shit. And you can't be around me because we just gonna be in this clash. I'm gonna be cursing you out every 5 seconds. Like so, it's just the spirit how the Lord He'll separate some people from you, and people will separate themselves from you as well because they don't want to be around that light.
Envy's a righteous woman, a whore's woman is a righteous woman. And if you do got a woman like that, you got to check yourself.
Yeah, well, that's right. If the Lord gave you over to a wicked woman, like you always call your girl wicked all the time. You that's how I be worried. I'm like, you weak. Like, you alright. You alright. You be alright. Keep calling wicked all the time.
Yeah, they see a reflection of you.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, they say you are what you attract. You know? So you pushed up on her, you seen how she was, and you still agreed. You was in some type of friendship or agreement to accept her ways how she are and work with her.
It's spiritual. The Lord, it's kind of like that, like the Lord with us, because we're not perfect. Right? As it says, our righteousness is as a filthy rag. But He's able to deal with us to some level, like how we're able to tolerate and deal with these women. So, man, I don't care what woman you got. There's gonna be a moment where you get that headache, where there's a reminder that you're in Babylon. Every woman, every time you got a woman, she's always gonna be a reminder that you're in Babylon. That's something she's gonna do, right? Just like how the Lord is dealing with us, but we're not perfect. That's why He needs to make us perfect. You know.
Something that we do doesn't need a reminder, but reminds Him that we're in the flesh.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why He said that my spirit can't always go with men because He's in the flesh. And so there's something that we always do that's going to remind the Lord that that's
a man.
Like, you got to just look at this. Like you always have to go back to the sun. It's like, wasn't for you. Like it'll be through. Like you know what I mean?
It's like you said how sometimes you might say, oh, you wicked. You stop and you think about yourself.
Right.
Well, that's why the Lord is like, I'm going to need to change our bodies because I don't want to keep on seeing you as wicked because then why am I dealing with wicked people?
Right.
You know, people that are not perfect. I'm perfect.
Yeah.
So I don't want to keep on looking at you and every time you go off, I'm like, oh, this imperfect. You know, I'm going to make you perfect because I can't stand to deal with imperfection.
Right. Yep.
There's the book of 1 Peter chapter 3, and I'm going to start at verse 21. It says, the like vigor runs even baptism doth also now save us, not putting away of the filth of the flesh, but the answer of a good conscience toward Yahweh, by the resurrection of Yahushua. Verse 22, who is gone into heaven and is on the right hand of Yahweh, angels and authorities and powers being made subject unto him.
Yeah, it says Yahushua can cleanse our conscience, man. And that's deep. Because you think about like, yo, your own conscience literally can condemn you. If you try it, that's why people that say that they don't need Yahushua and then basically their own righteousness can save them. But that means that if you ever go off, if you really have that feeling of like, yo, I'm sorry. If you don't have Yahushua, you can never get rid of that feeling. Right. And you can never just like, you know, get past that because you know that.
Forgive yourself.
Yeah, you can never forgive yourself. And it's always going to be a constant thing because you're always going to go off. So you're always going to just feel like, yo, I literally just like, I'm fucked up. And we think that now, but at least we have the hope and the mercy, and we have Yahushua like to lean back on.
Let not thy sins weigh
you down. Yeah. Blessed is the man whose conscience condemns him not. And how can your conscience not condemn you? It's only by belief in Yahushua. That's
rebuking certain thoughts in the name of Yahushua.
Right.
There's a lot of left-handed thoughts you get, you rebuke it in the name of Yahushua. And where that come from? You rebuke it in the name of Yahushua. That's why David asked not to have a plague of the mind. Because once your mind is plagued, you know, that's it.
And plagues are sent by evil spirits. All the workers, going back to what we were talking about, all the workers are done by spirits, man. You know? So if an evil spirit plagues your mind, that's a heavy demon that's on you that you can't get off. That's why you got people that are lunatics, dementia, schizo. They're on these pills. Yeah, that's all pharmakia. It's all just your mind is being plagued by these heavy ass demons. That's why Yahushua said it. It's like this type you can't get out by fasting and praying. Because they was trying to do it. They was like, we did this before. But this one the big boy. Right? You can't get this one out just by regular, man. That's why you got a lot of people that are on those types of like they got mental illnesses. They're like really stuck in that shit. You don't really see a lot of people that have mental illness, like talking about like really like lunatics that are just like not lunatics anymore. Like, oh yeah, I used to be a lunatic back 10 years ago. I'm not like that anymore. You in a mental ward somewhere. That demon's on you.
John 8:24, I said therefore unto you that ye shall die in your sins. For if ye believe not that I am he, ye shall die in your sins.
That's great.
That's going back to the point that the elder just made. That Yahushua ultimately is our attorney and our lawyer. You know, in the court of law, Yahweh is the judge. So in this case, those who are going to die in their sins, they say, oh, we don't need Yahushua. We don't need a representative. We don't need someone to fight on our behalf. We don't need a lawyer. I'm going to represent myself. And when you do that, everything that you say can be used against you. But when you have a man like Yahushua in your corner, he's the one who can plead your case. He knows the ins and outs. He knows certain laws that you might not know. He might know certain things that technically, oh, this you did this, technically you can get off of this. So he knows the ins and outs. So when he speaks to the judge, because sometimes you might have a case, and then they'll go back in the back, outside of everyone's vision, they'll go to the back and they'll be talking to the judge. And they'll be like, Judge, hey, this is my case, this is what I'm saying. It's almost like a game that they play, you know? But in the forefront, Yahushua is like, well, I'm representing this man, and this man. So we don't have to, fight for ourselves. We don't have to put ourselves on the line and try to defend ourselves because Yahushua does that for us. All he says is, okay, you believe I got you? Yes, Lord. And then he said, all right, I got you. Stay back. I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to speak for you. I'm going to represent you. Just don't incriminate yourself.
The good lawyer tell you, don't say nothing.
Don't say nothing. Exactly.
Yeah, I'll handle it. Don't say nothing. Yep. And that's what Yahushua is for us, man. We're like, yo, no, I got
got you.
Don't say nothing.
Yep. Just do this. Just do what I tell you.
And it's even worse. It's even badder because the judge gave the judgment to our lawyer, and the lawyer is also the prosecutor. So it's like, yo,
Right.
you like go all three. But yo, you can't go past him. That's why he said anybody go through me. Like you can't go through me. You can't get to me. You can't get to the Father except me, man. I'm on the left. I'm on the prosecutor. I'm the attorney. I'm the judge. You need me. Like,
You need me, exactly.
Like you need me.
It's crazy that we're gonna see Yahushua prosecuting people for the same things that he done absolved us from. To see how, because we see the Lord as merciful, but when he comes back, we're gonna see his other side, how he's gonna bring the destruction, and that's gonna show like you said, the power of both sides, and also the great mercy. That this is how bad the Lord can get down. I'm glad that I'm on his good side. Because if I was on the other side, you know what I'm saying, like shit.